Here's the top things you need to be looking for if you're looking to buy an investment property here in 2025. The first thing you need to do, and the most important step, is figuring out what you want out of an investment property. Are you going to hold on to it for a short period of time or a long period of time? Are you going to renovate it, or are you going to leave it as is? Do you want to flip it? Do you want to hold it? Do you want to force appreciation, or do you want to let the market appreciate it? Do you want to buy in an area that has a lot of future potential but is kind of dumpy right now? Or do you want it in a established neighborhood that is probably going to look the same in 10, 15, 20 years whenever you want to sell it? What city do you want to purchase it in? Do you want it locally in your backyard, or do you want it across the country? Are you hoping for cash flow? Are you hoping for appreciation? There's a ton of questions that you need to figure out when evaluating investment properties. Here is a couple examples of crystal clear criteria that will help you decide if you want to purchase an investment property. So, for example, let's use me for easy purposes. So, I am in Austin, Texas. I like investment properties close to me. I've had bad luck with investment properties that are in a different state in the past. So, I want something in my local backyard. I want it in a nice area. I don't want it in a dumpy area. My goal is to hold the property for 10 to 15 years, sell it, and then scale it into a larger property like an apartment complex. I am not looking for cash flow. I don't need the property to make money immediately. I have a job right now. I'm okay if I have to fund it for the first couple years until the rents go up. I do not want a fixer-upper. I want something that is totally renovated or in newer condition. So if you tell this to a realtor that you're working with, they will have a much better idea than if you're saying, I am looking for a home in either Austin, Dallas, or San Antonio that's a good deal, and I only want to see good deals, and I want to make a lot of money each month. No, you want it to be as specific as possible. Here's another example. I'll use myself as well. So I have young kids. It's very common for people who have young kids to purchase a home in their kid's name and slowly pay off that house, and then once they graduate from high school or college, the home is completely paid off. They have a house to move into after they graduate, or they could use it as a rental, or they could just sell it and buy their own house or do their own thing. So it's a common practice. So that criteria is very different than someone who says, I plan on quitting my job in 12 months. I need cash flow today to pay for my living expenses. So one is short term, one is long term. You have to be as clear as possible, because when you are crystal clear on your future, then you know exactly what will fit your criteria and what will not fit your criteria. One thing I hear all the time is, how do I know if it's a good deal? And honestly, it's kind of hard sometimes. You have to bounce ideas off of local experts, off of local investors to figure out what they're seeing in the market. But the best thing that I've seen in a personal test that I run past a bunch of deals that I'm analyzing is I will compare them side by side, and I'll say, okay, here's 10 properties. So what I do is I have a hypothesis. I'll say, I want to buy a house in Austin that pays me $200 per month. Then I go and I analyze 10 deals and I see, is this realistic? If I see the most one is making is $25 a month out of 10, then I know my expectations are unrealistic. If they're making, $1,000 a month, then I know, I need to reset here. So what I like to do, I shoot for the top 10%. So what I do is I'll analyze them apples to apples. I will find the bottom 90 and I'll just wipe them out. And then when I'm looking at the final 10%, then you can make some sort of educated guesses on which ones will be better than others. But at the end of the day, if you're picking from the top 10%, there might not be a ton of variability. There might be some things out of your control that you have no way of knowing. You might get lucky, or you might miss the boat a little bit. But if you use that as a barometer, you're gonna end up okay. A huge mistake that I see in new investors is that they are chasing something based on price point. Price point is very important, but it is not the end all be all. What people tend to forget is that if you see a home that is significantly underpriced for the market, there's usually a reason why. Maybe that home suffered fire damage. Maybe that home's on a terrible street. There's always a reason why. And if there's not a reason why, then naturally the market will price that accordingly. You'll get multiple offers, and ultimately the price will go up until it hits market value. So there's more to the story than just price. One thing you need to figure out in yourselves is how much effort you want to put into having this rental. Do you want to manage it yourself? Do you want a property manager? Do you want to renovate when you buy it, or do you want to have it fully turnkey? Do you want to renovate it yourself? Do you want to hire the renovations out? There's a lot of different ways to do it, and it depends on your personal skill set and your time availability. Personally, I don't have time. I don't want to do it. I don't even want to hire it out. That's too much effort for me right now. On my first property, I did that. I did some of the work myself. I hired most of it out. Now, I just want something turnkey. The last house we purchased, I want it fully renovated. I didn't want to do it. I didn't have the time or the effort or the mental capacity to figure all that out. The final thing I look for in an investment property is the path of progress. This is going to be your biggest determining factor in the equity potential of a property. So let's say you are looking in an area where all of the houses are brand new, they're all priced really high, they have perfectly manicured lawns, they all have pools, all the cars driving around are really nice. There's not a lot of path of progress. Like over time, yes, the homes will get nicer, they'll be renovated, but there's not a ton of growth still happening in that area. Versus, let's say you're driving down the road and half of them are dumps, 20% of them are in decent condition, the owners take pride in it, but they're old, and the rest of them have a dumpster in front because they're being renovated. That is a sign of a path of progress, and that's where you'll see the largest equity growth, because you're purchasing a home, let's say you're purchasing an older home in that area, and you see prices going up, you see that people are making their homes nicer, the people living there are slowly updating their homes, and over time the prices will keep going up and up. So that is definitely important when considering where you want to purchase. If you want more info on this, feel free to reach out to me. I help a lot of people figure out if they want to buy an investment property, what is important to them, and just ask a lot of questions on trying to help you decide what's important to you. And the final thing you need to think about when evaluating investment properties is ultimately, this sounds silly, but do you want to own a property? Do you want to own real estate? Or maybe something a little more passive is better for you, maybe stocks or bonds. Real estate, the pro is that it's physical, and the con is also that it's physical. Sometimes it's difficult to get in and out of them. Sometimes you're, trying to sell it in a down cycle, and it might sit on the market a long time. So there's a lot of nuance on whether it's right for you, and it's a totally personal decision, and it's not right for everyone. Thank you so much for watching. That is the end of this one. If you have any questions about investment properties, reach out to me, and remember to hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next one.